Hi guys, good afternoon. Hope you're having a good day. My name is John Alimossy, 41 years in the electrical trade locally here in the Valley. I actually started out as an apprentice in the school that I work for now. I'm a student teacher here at Crater Lake Electrical Apprentice Training. And our intent today is to offer you an opportunity and give you thought as to a career as an electrician. So if you're an individual who likes to build things, likes to accomplish tasks, see your daily goals met, and have the appreciation of what you're doing, working in the construction industry, I think that you should consider yourself a candidate for the electrical trade. The trade itself is a construction activity related job, of course, so you're not going to be stuck behind a desk. You're going to be out building things, working on things, accomplishing things here in the Valley or wherever the jobs may take you. And to be an electrician, you should consider the career path, and it is a career. If you're just looking for a job, I think you need to be thinking a little bit bigger as to what kind of career opportunities we could be offering to you as an electrician. The trade itself is involved in every aspect of power distribution. We do work with electricity and the distribution systems on building and structures in the Valley to accomplish the needs of individuals to utilize electricity in the way they see fit, from basic residential to commercial applications, retail stores, restaurants, businesses, industrial activity, manufacturing, and even data transition. You know, the career path is an interesting concept. When you look at a typical career path, you're going to go to college, spend 4+ years at college, and when you graduate, you're guaranteed two things: a really big bill, and of course your diploma, and then you have to find that job or opportunity out there that's going to fulfill your needs. And so you're stuck with a lot of debt that you're going to spend generations paying for and try to accomplish that in a reasonable amount of time with whatever kind of job is going to fulfill your needs. Our career path is a little bit different. When you apply as an apprentice and approved and accepted into the program, we're going to give you a position on a job where you get on-the-job training 40 hours a week, just like a regular job. You're going to see the activities in the field under the supervision of a trained journeyman. You're going to learn the trade, but at the same time, you're going to be going to school for about 10 months out of the year. We do take our summers off. We like the time off just like everybody else. And so the academics of the industry are going to be something you're going to be exposed to every other weekend here at the school for 8 hours, typically on a Saturday. So you're going to spend 4 years as an apprentice, both learning on the job and then, of course, at the school itself here, where you'll learn the ins and outs of the electrical trade, the academics, the math behind it, the information you'll need to be a successful wireman while you're working during the same time. And when you complete the courses in 4 years, you'll be able to have a license in both the state of Oregon and the state of California. At that point, you'll be graduating from a program where you'll have zero debt. You know, the amount you're going to pay each year for your schooling, which is about $1,500 to $2,000, depending upon inflation and things like that. That's a drop in the bucket compared to the actual cost of a college education, and yet you're going to have the craftsmanship and certifications and licensing that indicate you're a qualified journeyman electrician, which is acknowledged basically anywhere in the nation. We're a nationally recognized program. We're part of a training system with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, which is the nationally largest and recognized electrical union in the States. And so, you know, you have to ask yourself, well, who's paying the bill? Because it's going to cost more than that for your education. And the program itself is overseen by a committee of both union members and contractors that oversee the program, and they pay the bill. So therefore, they're going to have a real commitment and eyeball on how well you're doing. So, you know, you ask yourself, well, what does an electrician do? Well, the reality to it is we do anything that deals with electrical installations, electrical distribution. Your typical, you know, you may think plugs and lighting is what we do, and that's true. but we also do more as we provide power for all the mechanical systems in buildings, whether it's air conditioning, plumbing systems, mechanical systems. If it moves by electricity, if it requires electricity, we're the guys that bring the distribution system to it and provide the power to it. If it's a building structure or anything that consumes electricity and needs to be wired, we're the guys that handle it. And I know that, a lot of people think that, well, I want to be more involved in the technologies. The harsh reality is that we are the technology guys. When new technologies come out, we see them first, we install them first, we maintain them, repair them as needed. So the reality to it is we are the technology guys. Something as simple as the solar fields that are being built in Eastern Oregon right now, massive amount of solar fields in the past several years going up. We're the guys that install the solar fields. We're the guys that do the cogeneration systems. We're the guys that do the data systems, fire alarm systems. It's not just plugs and lights. With new technology and new systems, we're introduced to new concepts of electrical use and how we can manage those systems almost every year. A simple point of reference is the LED lights that we use nowadays. It was less than 10 years ago that they were introduced into society. Our industry grabbed a hold of it and expanded it to where people were willing to accept it as a way of energy efficiency and good light output and controllability. And that seems to be the standard in the industry. When those LED lights were introduced to society, we were the guys that got them first. We learned how to install them, maintain them, repair them, and keep them going, as well as control them for light levels and light colors and things like that. So, when you look at all the technologies out there, we're the guys that deal with all the new stuff as well as the stuff that's been around forever, whether you're talking about simple generators, uninterruptible power supplies, DC systems, and things like that. So, we're offering this opportunity for you to consider an electrician as a possible career avenue for your future. And we would hope that you would consider us. And so I'd like to open it up to any questions that you may have or any comments that you may want to remark about. Lance, do you want to add anything to the conversation?
Sure. All right. I think I'm up. New to Teams.
You're looking good from this view.
Okay.
I can see you.
Okay, good. Yeah, just to add to what John was saying, this is a very good career for the right person. So a good career, it will pay you well. It'll see you through life. Provide good benefits for come what may. You may get hurt and need good insurance. This career provides that. You're going to want to save up for a good retirement. This career provides that. One of our apprentices, if they come in right out of high school, they actually don't have to think about retirement anymore. They don't have to think about how much should I contribute to 401k. There's enough already set up in the benefits where they can retire quite well. But none of that makes for a good career if the applicant, if the apprentice is just doing it for that, just for the money, just for the benefits. It's a really good career if, like John mentioned, you enjoy working with your hands. If you enjoy a frequent change of scenery, which this career provides. The job site can change sometimes daily, oftentimes monthly. Sometimes you'll be on a big job that lasts a year or two, but even within that, there's a great variety of work that you do, but not everybody likes that. Not everybody likes working with their hands. Not everybody likes being outdoors. In this trade, you can be outdoors quite a bit. So you have to think about yourself. Of course, don't pursue a career just based on the money. And maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know if you like working with your hands. Maybe you don't know if you like a frequent change of scenery. Fortunately, there's getting to be more pre-apprenticeship programs in the area and internship opportunities. And there's a lot of temporary jobs in construction, for students to explore if this is something that they would enjoy doing for a living. So really, I encourage any student, if they think I might like to do that, to look at those opportunities to, as the saying goes, try before you buy. Explore the career ahead of time. We get a lot of applicants that just go, oh, that pays well, and they just throw an application at it. Those applicants are not going to get in because it's competitive. The job does pay well, so we get a lot of applicants. And so because it's competitive, to get in, the applicant has to show that they know for sure this is what they want to do. And there's a variety of ways to show that. The best way is qualifications, having on your resume that you've done some sort of construction work. Even construction laborer is fine. That sets our applicants apart from most. if they have any construction experience, even construction laborer. And the pre-apprenticeship programs, those are just now getting established. And as they do, that's going to hold more weight for applicants through those programs. And part of the application process is an interview. So I encourage students to utilize any interview workshops that are available. Lots of schools have them through the WorkSource Center. They have interview workshops. So yeah, and if any student says, I think this is for sure what I want to do, feel free to reach out to me. You can send me an email, give me a phone call. Email's the best, just asking about what you can do to set yourself apart as an applicant. And other things I'll point out about the trade. I don't know if I can do a screen share. Aspects of the trade that I have found enjoyable, which, by the way, I don't think I introduced myself. My name's Lance, and I'm the training director for the Crater Lake Electrical Training Center. And I've been in the trade it'll be 20 years this July. Time flies. Time flies. I just can't believe it's already coming up on 20 years. But some aspects of the trade that I've really enjoyed, if I can figure out a screen share, I'm more familiar with Zoom.
Up in the upper right-hand corner, Lance, next to the leave button, there's an arrow pointing up.
Okay, I think I got it.
There you go.
Okay. So one aspect of the trade that I really enjoy is you can almost be an artist of sorts. When you look at this conduit work, that does require, a lot of skill. This is exposed work. It needs to look really nice. And some aspects of this conduit work that make it kind of artistic. These bends, the way they all match. These are concentrics here. The spacing between them. Some people are really detail orientated, and they're just going to get bored if they don't have a job where they can show some sort of mastery. And this trade provides that opportunity in many different ways. This is at one of the local mills. I think this is Timber Products. One of our local contractors is a training agent, Wellburn Electrical. They did this work, and it just highlights, a lot of beautiful conduit work. Probably something you appreciate more as an electrician, but I think even as a layman, so to speak, you can see that a lot of skill is involved with this. And there's just many aspects of the trade that are enjoyable, make the days go by fast, the weeks, even the years, even the decades. I'm already almost 20 years in. And another nice thing about the trade is, which John touched on, There's lots of avenues you can go within the trade. There's lots of different pathways for advancement. Myself, for example, from apprentice to journeyman to I ran a service truck, so it's kind of like a foreman. I was like a shop within a shop. Became an instructor and then training director, and John gave his history. Where same, he went from apprentice to journeyman to foreman to project manager to instructor. Some people like that. Some people, they don't. They just want to, kind of set it and forget it job. But this, it's something I really like about this trade. There's just so many different ways you can go with it. We have some electricians. Let's see, how do I figure out how to shut off the screen share now? Well, while I have the screen share going, I'll go to our website. But yeah, finish that line of thought. Oh, go ahead, Josh.
I was gonna tell you while you're setting that up. We do have a couple questions here in the chat box from students at Newbridge. Okay. I can read those off to you if you'd like.
Yeah, how do I open the chat box?
It's up on the top.
Yeah, top left. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, could you explain how the typical move into the electrical career trades? I think I hit on that. What kind of requirements for entry? Okay, so yeah, I'll touch on the website that shows a lot of this. And that last line of thought that I'll finish real quick. We do have some electricians that have been very successful in the trade, where, know thyself, they didn't want a lot of responsibility. So they've done just that. They've worked as an electrician where they find a niche and they kind of do the same thing day in and day out. So, and I think that is a likable aspect of the trade. Not everybody's looking for a lot of responsibility, and there's all the different spectrums within the trade. So now going to these questions. So Josh put in the chat the link to our website, clejatc.org. If you go there and you click on the applicant tab, it shows the minimum requirements, 2.0 GPA. So it's not a high bar to clear as far as basic education requirements. So 2.0 GPA. And for math, we need to see Algebra 2 at a level of C or better for the entire year. So if Algebra 2 is across 4 semesters and a student gets an A, an A, an A, and a D, well, that D is not going to meet the qualifications. They would need to retake that class and get at least a C. That can also be met with Math 60 level at a community college, or a placement test, which would place the student into Math 65, which shows a mastery of Math 60. And we also use an aptitude test called the NCRCC Test, which many students take in high school. If your high school doesn't offer that, you can take it at a local work source center where it's offered for free and generally weekly. And we require the highest score, which is a platinum in math, and then the highest score in reading, which is again a platinum. And then they have another section called graphic literacy, which involves reading charts and tables and being able to interpret the information on those. And we only require silver on that because it's not something that people commonly do. And that's the entry level for an apprentice. An apprentice, when they enter classes on day 1, they need to be at that level in reading and math. If they're not, they're just not going to make it. And we don't have the resources, nor should we have to teach somebody to be a good reader or good at math. But we do teach apprentices how to be proficient at interpreting the charts that we use. So that's why for entry, the level's only silver. But an apprentice needs to reach a level of platinum on interpreting charts and graphs and the such to finish the program. They won't be able to pass the state test if they don't master that, but just silver for entry. To apply for the apprenticeship program, if these minimum requirements are met, anybody can apply. Every completed application is scheduled for an interview. And interviews are typically booked about 3 months out. And we do interviews each month, about half a dozen or so each month. And we have 75 applicants listed on the website, is generally ranked on our applicant list. It's typically around 100 applicants ranked at all times. And out of those 100, we typically each year hire around the top 15. So it is competitive, like I mentioned before. But out of those 100, the vast majority, like I mentioned before, are just throwing an application at it. So it may seem like, oh, well, I have a 15% chance of getting in. Well, that's 15 per year. Applicants remain ranked on our list for about 2 years, and people can reapply. But I would say really the odds of getting in, if an applicant shows they for sure know what they're applying for, they show qualifications that they can be proficient at the trade. Just shooting from the hip, I'd say the majority get in when they can demonstrate that. Tough to come up with a exact percentage, but the majority that show that they know this is what they want to do, and they've taken those steps and qualifications, ideally some sort of construction job, the majority get in. Especially young ones that are persistent. It is competitive. They may need to apply more than once. That's the good news. Majority get in if they show they really want it and they show they know what they're applying for. Application process, I basically explained. Well, I guess not completely. Yeah, you're scheduled for an interview, and there's 4 interviewers, and each interviewer independently comes up with a score for the interviewee, for the applicant. And those 4 scores are combined, and that's what determines the ranking on our list. And then as contractors need apprentices, then we pull from the list from the top down. So more information on the NCRC test. There are practice tests that can be taken. Some students, they want to go to the military, before they may have an idea for a career, but they want to go to the military first. We do accept VA benefits. We've had many veteran apprentices that don't pay a dime for books and tuition, and they get paid to be an apprentice. They get a stipend from the VA, so they get a monthly check from the VA because they're pursuing an education that's going to contribute to society, and it's part of the benefits with serving the country as a veteran. We do cover a large jurisdiction. We cover the Roseburg area and the Klamath Falls area, and of course the Rogue Valley. But an applicant can turn down a job more than 50 miles from their residence and retain their ranking on our list. But this topic reminds me that somebody interested in construction should be prepared to travel. Any construction job, I did heating and air conditioning before I became an electrician. And even with that, the jobs were spread out quite a bit. So you end up with some drive time. It's part of the trade. So, and we are affiliated with Mount Hood Community College, and I don't think that's something we've mentioned yet. Our apprentices, they get 60 college credits on a transcript from Mount Hood Community College. Our apprentices, they don't have to do anything with Mount Hood. Every apprenticeship program that's registered has to have an affiliation with a community college. So ours is with Mount Hood, and they vet our curriculum. And the big bonus is apprentices, they get college credits cheap on a transcript that they can then use to maybe get an associate's degree, which can open up other avenues within the career. And the different aspects of our trade, or I guess I should say the different classifications, are inside electrician. So inside electrician, that just covers everything. It's kind of an old term. Inside is compared to outside, which is utility electricians, you know, that work for like PP&L and work on the power lines. And then in comparison to that, inside electricians are inside a lot more. Limited energy, that's low voltage, like computer wiring, speakers, home security, fire alarm systems, and then limited residential, just wiring houses, residence, apartments. Most of the demand, though, is for inside electrician, which is also called general electrician. And contractors want more of these than the others, because general electricians, also called inside electricians, can do this work as well. Other areas, they're utilized a lot more in bigger cities. So we do accept apprentices into these classifications, but it's not very many. We just pull from the main list for inside electrician. We offer it to applicants, and they can turn it down and wait for inside electrician if they want to. Starting pay is good. It's close to $17 an hour for the inside program, and a few bucks less for the other programs. And I think John mentioned, as an apprentice, you get a raise about every 6 months. So it's another great aspect of the trade. You know, other jobs, you get the job and you just wonder, man, am I going to get that next raise? When is that next raise? As an apprentice, there's a pay rate schedule, and you know, you can plan your life a little more around that. A lot of our apprentices are getting mortgages and buying homes before they complete the program, and part of that is because they reach a good wage fairly quick, and then it's predictable where it's going to. So that helps the mortgage lenders. And I think that covers the basics for how to apply with our program. And again, so typical high school student to move into the electrical trade, explore the pre-apprenticeship programs in the area, and other construction opportunities. Let me see if I can shut off this screen share. One would think.
Lance and John, I got a question really quick.
Sure.
Sometimes we have students who graduate and they're waiting to turn 18 before they can really explore these career opportunities. I was told in the past that you guys had like material handlers positions that they might be able to kind of come into, not only to get their experience, but to be working while they're waiting to get on that list. Is that something you can talk a little bit more about?
I think the material handlers generally have to be 18 as well, because they're going to be on construction job sites. But yeah, you know, somebody 17, they can start getting their application together. But to be a material handler, they would need to be 18. Some of the shops, they would maybe hire a shop guy or a shop gal if they're not quite 18. It's possible. Other avenues I recommend are volunteer construction projects like Habitat for Humanity. That's good experience. Do you know how to shut off screen share, Josh?
I don't, but that's okay. It's good to have that up and we can still see you.
Okay.
Some of our students that are joining us today, they might be in corrections. Could you talk a little bit more about their opportunities within the industry, and maybe if you're familiar with the YPP program, the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, how that might benefit them?
The WOTC, is that where an employer gets reimbursed for part of their wage?
Yeah, it's a tax credit for employers that hire individuals from certain targeted groups that have consistently faced significant barriers to employment.
Okay.
If that's not something that you have familiarity with, I can get that information out there. But as far as second chance employers, where do you guys stand on that?
So then information I have for that is, so we don't do a background check on applicants. So it does not have to be divulged as an applicant, which means that gives somebody the opportunity to, maybe rank to the very top of our list. They haven't had the stress of, divulging what happened in their past. That can be stressful going into an interview, going, oh, and they know the mistake I made, which everybody makes mistakes. But what could happen, we could have somebody score to the top of the list and they could get called up for a job with a contractor where a background check is required. And it could be that the applicant with the job offer maybe doesn't pass the background check. In which case the contractor can, of course, say, well, they can't work on the jobs that I need them for, so send me the next person on the list. That doesn't happen very often. I've had that happen once in almost 7 years. But the other scenario is somebody gets hired on as an apprentice with a contractor. Nobody knows about their mistake in the past, maybe for years, just worked on jobs where a background check isn't required. And then a job could come up, it could come up years down the road. Typically, if you've been with a contractor, even for a few months, once they know you're a good worker, especially for years, they're probably just going to find another job for you. They're going to go, yeah, I know this is a good worker. They made a mistake in the past. We all do. But those are some scenarios that an applicant with a criminal background should be aware of. And I think a lot of other jobs are similar in that aspect where, there could be some limitations down the road. But I tend to think most of the background checks for the type of work we have in our area. So recently we had one for Kingsley Field, and they only go back so far. And I think with youth mistakes made as a youth, it has less weighting than mistakes that were made as an adult. So hopefully that explains the aspects of the trade if someone has a criminal record.
Thank you, Lance. Do we have any other questions, Cole or Michael?
I don't have any at mind right now.
Lance, I think of a student like Cole who is at Hidden Valley right now. Maybe he's eager to get started in the trades upon his graduation. Granted, you just covered all the things that they need to accomplish in order to be part of the union. But if you were in his shoes, what's the best advice you could give someone like Cole in order to get himself prepared for those opportunities?
Again, check out the pre-apprenticeship programs in the area. Look for summer job opportunities in construction. They're getting to be less. Employers are getting to be more liability minded with minors, but there's still a lot out there. And again, check with volunteer construction work like Habitat for Humanity. Any shop class that's construction related, or just, manual labor related, even an auto mechanic class that helps. Every bit helps because it's competitive. And right out of high school, even in high school, when that 18 years is coming up and it opens up more opportunities for employment in construction, just any construction job as soon as possible. Construction labor is fine. Some people think, well, to become an electrician, I gotta, get a highly skilled construction job because it's competitive. I like to reiterate, any construction job helps, even construction labor. And that's about it. Work on the resume, make sure it looks good. We get some applicants where the application itself, their handwriting is not good. There's ways to do a fillable PDF. They just don't take the time. Every bit helps when it's competitive. So make sure that application looks good. The resume looks good. I think pretty much all schools have a resume service to help with the resume. And just, practice for the interview. Just come in as an applicant where everything looks as good as it can. We get a lot of applicants where, we get them with like food stains sometimes on the application. It blows me away. I don't know what people are thinking. It may seem minor, but the details really help when something is competitive. It would be nice if we were set up, and really I think it's pretty much all apprenticeship programs, not just electrician, where it is really tough. You turn 18 and just roll right into apprenticeship program. Typically you're interviewing at the age of 18 and working some sort of transition job before getting the main job. But that's not so bad. That's an advantage, really. It really is. I think an apprentice has a leg up. I think they're going to be at a disadvantage if they go from high school right into apprenticeship, and that's their first exposure to a job site. I think it's better. One, it helps you get in, but let's say hypothetically, somebody could get in, boom, right at the age of 18. They're going to be better off if, it was 18 and a half, and they did 6 months of construction labor, or maybe framer or whatever, laying flooring, roofing, something construction related.
Solid advice. Does anyone else have any more questions? This is your last chance if you have any. Okay, well, John and Lance, I want to thank you for your time today and spending that time on the call and give us some opportunities to learn about the construction trades. Looks like Gene might be typing something in. Gene's saying thank you. So again, yeah, thanks for your time and really appreciate it.
Oh, you bet. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Sorry.
Our pleasure, Joshua.
I'll be in touch with both of you.
Okay,
Sounds good. You enjoy your day.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you bet. Sorry for being such a newbie at Teams.
Oh, it's great. It's learning for all of us.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you. Thanks for setting this up, Josh.
You bet. Take care, guys.
Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.